if they're coming my way, then it worked out perfect, guys. A little loose position, I could go down the corner over there. The record. Oh yeah. They're coming this way. It sounds like they're coming this way. I know they're on the freeway, but I don't want to exit and not be able to come back.
What freeway is that again? I don't know.
happening at this point in time, but maybe about 15 minutes ago there was a minor scuffle where we saw some federal agents and some of the folks out there breaking out into some sort of argument. There was some pepper spray that was being used on some of the folks out there, but as of right now, it doesn't look like there are any violent encounters or any arguments breaking out. But we have been monitoring this throughout the morning. People have been showing up for the past couple of hours or so. Everything remaining relatively peaceful, but of course this is the third day that we're seeing the tensions escalate with protests or confrontations. We've seen this in a number of different areas across LA County and Paramount, as well as Compton, downtown Los Angeles. You can see the California National Guard there on the ground. They have batons ready. They also have shields ready as they protect the federal building. And we're being told this is where people who have been detained are being kept. So we're watching this live, where we're seeing how this is all developing on this third day. We're getting pictures both on the ground as well as up in the air. You can see protesters out there holding signs, chanting. We have media who are mixed in with the crowd, making sure that you get a good perspective of what's happening there on the ground. But we are watching this, seeing how this all plays out. This could be a matter of minutes or hours before this crowd disperses, and we will see if this remains peaceful for the rest of the afternoon here on this Sunday. Right now, it also looks like traffic is being affected there on the streets, obviously, with all the people blocking some of the roadways there. But this is all coming after President Trump has deployed 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles. And Governor Newsom, Mayor Karen Bass, they've both objected to this, saying that this will only escalate tensions with these ICE raids happening in our area. So on the right side of your screen, you're taking a look at video from a little bit earlier this afternoon. This is the confrontation that I was mentioning with some folks and federal agents clashing a bit. There was pepper spray that was being used, some non-lethal weapons as well, to kind of disperse the crowd. That all died down within a matter of minutes. So right now we're not seeing any of that happening. Again, the right side of your screen, that is not our live picture. That happened within the last half hour or so. But you can see flashbangs, pepper spray, non-lethal weapons to disperse that crowd. The left side of your screen is what we're seeing at this point in time. Right now, it looks like the perimeter is holding and no one is getting violent on either side of this issue. But we are still seeing some remnants on the ground there from some confrontations over the last few days. Again, this is the third day that we're seeing protesters out here with signs and protesting outside the federal building here. We're watching to see if anything else develops on this afternoon, but the right side of your screen, you can see it got a little heated as they used smoke bombs there. Some media on the ground. I'd say there are about 300 people or so that have come out to protest in front of the building. And again, so far, no violent encounters, no major violent so far this afternoon. Just a few scuffles. No arrests made so far, according to our reports. I mean, Saturday night's protest outside the federal building, there were 11 arrests made, and those were primarily for failure to disperse once the order was given for an unlawful demonstration. Right now we are also hashing in Bruce Thomas, who's one of our experts here to weigh in. Bruce, what do you make of what you're seeing here at this scene in front of the federal building in downtown Los Angeles?
Well, we can just back up for a few, and I don't know if it's been covered, but the National Guard typically is called out by the lead law enforcement agency of the County of Los Angeles. That would be the County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Luna would make the request to the governor would approve the request, and then dispatch the National Guard. And what the president has done, he's kind of circumvented, I believe it's Title 10, which is the chain of command. So there are some issues with that. The other thing too, I know the Secretary of Defense, he wants to bring in the Marine Corps. Well, you can't have American troops on American soil through the Insurrection Act. So I'm just kind of bringing up our viewers to see what's going on and what the chain is kind of broken a little bit.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear your input and insight on all of this, because it really paints the picture for how different this situation is in terms of deployment with the National Guard, possibly the Marines, according to the Secretary of Homeland Security. It's good to see that. But what do you make of this scene right now? I mean, earlier we saw a bit of a scuffle, some confrontation with folks, but now it's calmed down within the past few minutes.
Yeah, the National Guard, if they are on federal property, and having done a lot of protests in West LA, you have to be invited on the property under a mutual aid agreement. You just cannot just station yourself on federal property. They have federal protective police, Homeland Security, and I'm assuming ICE also, to do that. But the other thing too is everybody has a First Amendment right to protest. When you start throwing stuff and vandalizing, then it gets a little out of control, and then the First Amendment right kind of takes a back seat to how dangerous the situation could be.
Thank you for your continued coverage here. I wonder if we can just take a look at this wide shot as we look at the Roybal Detention Center in downtown Los Angeles. This is now day 3 of unrest in downtown LA. In response to ICE raids and Department of Homeland Security movements, we saw problems in Paramount, we saw problems in Compton, and again last night in downtown Los Angeles. Things have been tense. There are crowds gathering. We know there's another demonstration set for 2 o'clock today at LA City Hall, not too far from this location. And of course, things differ now because the National Guard has been deployed or federalized by President Trump. It is something that Governor Newsom did not disagree with when he revealed that Trump and his administration were taking over 2,000 soldiers from the National Guard. He said this was the wrong mission. This is the wrong move. It's just going to escalate tensions. And we also heard from LA Mayor Karen Bass, who said she was willing to work with the Trump administration or anybody, but that this was unnecessary in this situation. So it is definitely an odd move for this to happen without the governor's approval and cooperation. And are you seeing anything, Bruce, as we bring you back in here, anything that seems out of the ordinary other than the background that what you've been talking about, the manner in which these troops have been deployed here?
Well, if you're going to deploy the National Guard, typically they're going to do what is known as property protection and structure protection. They're a visible presence. Now, as far as handling traffic, crowd control, vandalism, crime, that's what the LAPD is going to deal with on a tactical alert basis because they're in the city of LA. If it gets to a point where they can't handle what's going on, then their mutual aid, they will request the LA County Sheriff's Department. So I'm not sure what the mission of the National Guard is.
Right. We saw the LAPD come in last night and handle the situation. Can I ask you, so these people have taken over or are just standing in the street in downtown Los Angeles. Are these people breaking the law right now by being here if they're not being told to disperse or if they're being told to disperse? What's the line here? Whether these folks we see in the roadway are breaking the law?
Yeah, are they breaking the law? Yeah. it's a pedestrian hazard in the roadway. It's a citation. So, typically we have allowed, with protesters, we've actually met with them and said, okay, what do you want to do? I want to take over the intersection. All right, great. We're going to facilitate that for you to get your point across to make sure it's all safe. So in essence, are they breaking the law, the spirit of the law, the letter of the law? Yes. But in reality, are you going to go in and clear them out? Not yet.
As someone with such a deep background in law enforcement, I've been curious these last 48, 72 hours, that point in which the call goes to clear out a section. So if this situation were to change and the National Guard or officers wanted to move in and say clear this roadway, what is something from a law enforcement perspective? Because from the outside, that's the moment where things kind of turn very dangerous, where the crowd begins to scatter. You have a large number of people gathered here, and if the order goes out to break up this crowd, it's going to cause a panic and it's going to cause some problems. So where is the line that the officers draw here on where they want to maintain kind of a peaceful situation, even if, as you said, by the letter of the law, these folks are breaking the law, but they don't want to cause a panic and don't want to send people running in a large crowd, especially with traffic still going by, in what could turn into an incredibly dangerous situation.
Yeah, it's a multi-layered event. First thing you have to do is secure the area for vehicular traffic. Cars driving in and out is a problem for everybody. Once that's done, you set up the areas you want to close off, and you have to give everybody an escape route. This is the way we want you to go. So, at that point, does it become a problem? Is it a nuisance for everybody? Is there vandalism being committed? Is there robberies, thefts going on in local merchants? And then you say, you know what, okay, enough's enough. We gave you your First Amendment right to do what you want, and now we're done.
Yeah, you can see some graffiti on the federal building there. We see, I believe these are both live pictures, one from Air 7 and the other one from the ground. And we do obviously apologize for any profanity that we're seeing on a lot of these signs. Right now we are streaming online, and so that is just kind of comes with the territory when we're giving you the true picture of what's happening here on the ground. But at this point, things seem to have calmed down from where they were. From what we could tell, it seemed like someone from the back of this crowd may have thrown a projectile, and then they fire tear gas, and that winds up affecting those in the front of the crowd who may not have had anything to do with anything being thrown. So I don't know what order has been given out here. How much, Bruce, in a situation like this, how much restraint is advised for these Guards members and the police in a situation where you do have something thrown? You could have one agitator blow up the whole thing and kind of ruin what had been a peaceful demonstration.
Correct.
What order has been given out here? How much, Bruce, in a situation like this, how much restraint is advised for these Guards members and the police in a situation where you do have something thrown? You could have one agitator blow up the whole thing and kind of ruin what had been a peaceful demonstration. What order has been given out here? How much, Bruce, in a situation like this, how much restraint is advised for these Guards members and the police in a situation where you do have something thrown? You could have one agitator blow up the whole thing and kind of ruin what had been a peaceful demonstration. What order has been given out here? How much, Bruce, in a situation like this, compared to some LAPD officers advised in the situation last night?
Yeah, most of the National Guard, like LAPD and LASO, they are required to go through multiple hours of riot control training. That means, how to move a crowd, how to an arrest circle, to deal with an agitator. So the experience is there. How long they've been in the Guard, that's another question. But they do receive many hours of training throughout the year in civil unrest, because that is the National Guard's primary duty.
Yeah, tension levels must be pretty high. Even when things are calm like this, you see every once in a while a demonstrator will approach the line, just kind of provoking it and doing whatever they can to get a rise out of that line of soldiers and officers in tactical gear, this seems like a tough spot for anyone to be in. You know, it's not an enviable situation to be in no matter what side you're on. No matter who you're advocating for, to face a crowd like this, and when you're advocating for peace, and you just want things to calm down, it's a tough spot to be in as a human.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, you've got people like that, like you just mentioned, who kind of poke the bear. They're trying to get a reaction. And once that reaction goes, sometimes you can control it, sometimes you can't. And that's why in any skirmish line, you have what's called linebackers. And their job is to keep the integrity of the line, make sure no one gets out of control. And if somebody, an officer, National Guard, whatever, gets a little heated, their responsibility, pull them out of the line and replace them. You know, basically, go have a timeout.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we hope that we hope we don't have to see any of that put into play here and things remain calm. Bruce Thomas, thanks so much. I think we'll wind up checking in with you throughout the afternoon, but thank you for your help in assisting us in our coverage of what's going on in downtown. Okay. Are we going to wrap this up? Okay. We want to thank you for joining us for this streaming coverage of the unrest that continues in downtown Los Angeles. Again, we are expecting another rally to be held at 2 o'clock at City Hall. We will see if that converges with this demonstration outside the Roybal Federal Detention Center, which is just a couple blocks away, and it has been the site of unrest for the last 3 days now. Friday night it began. It was all day tomorrow in Paramount, in Compton, and again back here at Roybal, and we're seeing it here again today. We are live on the air at 3:30 this afternoon for Eyewitness News, but if we have to break in, if anything else happens, we will bring it to you live on our stream, abc7.com, ABC7 Los Angeles app, and on social media as well. We want to thank you for joining us, and remember, you can get your news anytime, 24 hours a day on our website, our app, or social media.
And now at 8, breaking news. President Trump ordering the National Guard to deploy to Southern California in response to unrest and violence against federal immigration enforcement.
Tonight, the White House says it's deploying 2,000 National Guard troops to LA, saying, quote, the Trump administration has a zero-tolerance policy for criminal behavior and violence, especially when that violence is aimed at law enforcement officers trying to do their jobs.
And Governor Newsom responding, saying, quote, the federal government is taking over the California National Guard and deploying 2,000 soldiers in Los Angeles, not because there is a shortage of law enforcement, but because they want a spectacle. And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says Marines at Camp Pendleton are also on standby at this hour to respond if necessary.
Let's get live to KCAL News reporter Zach Boeto, who's been in Compton all day, where protesters have been facing off with law enforcement after setting a car on fire. Zach.
Hey guys, in the last hour, deputies have since moved up Alondra closer to the 710 freeway on-ramp. They're now staged there and holding off protesters. Here behind me at the intersection that we've been standing at almost all day, Alondra and Atlantic, is basically now turned into a takeover where people are running and riding bikes and dirt bikes through the intersection. There's been a lot of trucks doing donuts here. Over to our left here, you can see that a security camera has been pushed over on this telephone pole. A lot of graffiti all over the businesses here in the intersection of Alondra and Atlantic, including Dave's Donuts here, an iconic location here in Compton. But as it turns to night here, protesters at this intersection have started to settle down a little bit. And again, deputies have since moved toward the 710 freeway. Here we go with a car doing a donuts here in the intersection. That same intersection is the one you're looking at now, where the car caught fire. There was a white Kia that came into the intersection a few hours ago, caught fire, and that set off a lot of mayhem here in Compton. Fireworks from the protesters toward the deputies. Deputies then shooting pepper balls at protesters, shooting flashbangs at protesters. Protesters scattering at that point, and then it really got chaotic at that point. So within the last hour, again, deputies starting to retreat, and then it calming down here. We do have some sound from some protesters who we spoke with earlier today, as well as the sheriff. Let's go ahead and roll that.
This is the United States of America. It's supposed to be for everybody. No one's better, no one's superior. We are the same. We bleed the same. We will die the same. We will all go under the earth the same.
All we're doing is trying to help our people from being separated from their families. That's all we're doing. That's all. Do you see anybody being violent right now, sir? No.
As the crowd has grown, it has become more violent. Individuals in the crowd that have been throwing objects at the federal agents, and we started to call in additional resources from around the county of Los Angeles.
Still a very active situation here in Compton. If you live in this area, a good idea to avoid the intersection of Alondra and Atlantic. And no one is getting over the bridge, over the 710 freeway. You can see in the distance here a lot of Mexican flags, a lot of American flags. People, again, upset with these ICE raids and coming here to Compton to show their frustrations, guys.
Yeah, Zach, we can see a lot of the people that are still out there. We've heard someone doing a donut, as you said. You mentioned that LASD deputies have retreated. Are there any colleagues at the location you are at?
Yeah, there's a couple dozen deputies down the street here. You can't see them from where we're standing, but they're just past the Dave's Donuts here on the corner. Still a couple dozen deputies holding strong with their riot shields. They have some green fencing laid out in front of them. Again, they're not letting anyone get over the overpass, which crosses over the 710 freeway. Can't see them from where we are now, but there are still some protesters clashing with those deputies, and we'll work to get a better shot for you guys coming up here at 8:30.
Zach, the letter 11. Thank you so much. It said those deputies
It's starting to get rowdy here.
Normally this is something we would stop, but in this case,
And a lot more traffic flowing.
well, earlier, not far from Compton, this was a scene in Paramount where protesters clashed with law enforcement. Protesters trying to block vehicles and throwing objects at cars and officers using pepper spray and firing rubber bullets. Take a listen. Just before officers used tear gas and rubber bullets, protesters tried to block a U.S. Marshal bus from driving through that
This also on Paramount, you can see a U.S. Marshal Service bus head-to-head with a group of protesters, at one point trying to push the bus back before then making its way through, and law enforcement allowing it to cross paths there. And another moment we showed you earlier this afternoon, a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol vehicle also getting things thrown at it from protesters. At one point, looks like milk, rocks, other things being thrown at those vehicles as they pass by.
Over in Inglewood, this was a situation here. Citizens' video shows someone being stuffed inside a Border Patrol vehicle there. A few people were outside of the car protesting the law enforcement. It's unclear if this was part of a larger raid or who the person was that was being taken in this video. We have reached out to federal officials, have not heard back yet. And tonight, a rally outside a detention center in downtown LA where protesters are gathering for anti-ICE rally on Alameda. This is happening right between Aliso and Temple. After yesterday's raids, they say they're standing against President Trump's immigration policies and fighting for dignity and equality. Now, joining the rally there, SEIU President David Huerta's nephew, who says his uncle is physically okay after being killed during his arrest yesterday.
We're here in solidarity with him, in solidarity with the immigrant community. They're trying to criminalize people that are working class, people that are the backbone of this country. If they want to deal with bad people, fine. That's a whole different conversation. But they're targeting working families. They're separating children. Children are not the bad guys. Families and mothers are not the bad guys.
Huerta is the leader of one of the nation's largest labor union, remains in federal custody. He's accused of interfering with the LA immigration raids. Now, the U.S. attorney says Huerta was blocking an ICE detention van. The union says Huerta had to be taken to the hospital. He is expected in court on Monday.
Today's protests come after an hours-long demonstration in downtown LA yesterday. People crowded the federal building where detainees were taken following widespread immigration sweeps in LA. The protests got tense at times, with officers firing tear gas to clear the crowd. Where federal agents appeared to be staging. Protesters confronted those agents as several flashbang grenades went off. Several of the armored vehicles were also vandalized with graffiti.
And today, California lawmakers say they are being denied entry into the downtown LA detention center where detained migrants are being held. Congressman Jimmy Gomez and other elected leaders say they should be allowed to visit any facility that's detaining migrants. They're told they weren't allowed in because of safety issues.
I've been to the Middle East, I've been to war zones, so I know what it's like to actually be in a situation that's a lot more dangerous than inside this building.
How many people are there? It is our job as members of Congress to provide, to have oversight.
And we reached out to Border Patrol for information about the facility, but haven't heard back. And breaking news tonight, President Trump deploying the National Guard to deal with unrest over immigration enforcement
the lieutenant on scene here.
And let's get live communication on news reporter Zach Boletto in Compton, where protesters have been facing off with law enforcement.
That way they could clear up this resource.
Yeah, hey guys, still an active scene here at Alondra and Atlantic. You can see behind me. People are starting to go through this intersection. Traffic is moving smoothly, but earlier today, a much different scene. We have video of a car fire that took place right at this intersection. Protesters and deputies clashing here in Compton, right next to Dave's Donuts. There were fireworks, there were pepper bombs, there were flashbangs going off.
So DHS is going to be taking over to clear this. That's National Guard alongside. We gotta be patient sometimes. We would have gave up this spot, it would have been bad for us on the other side.
Be on that side. You need to be on that side. You can't be behind us. Go.
DHS and wants me, wants all the weird guards on that side. see, that's one thing I'm not liking about DHS. They just want to shoot at everybody, including the press. LAPD had no issue with the press being behind them.
Unsafe behavior detected. Authorities may be contacted.
service over there, guys. Way too many people out there.